my middle school football coach came over to my house and had a dinner with my family and explained to my parents, like, hey, he has a future in this. 4 games into my rookie season, I got cut. That was the first time in my like football career ever, right? Like middle school, high school, college. That was the first time where like I'm not playing football anymore.
Well, welcome everyone to our first ever WNB Factory podcast interview. I want to introduce myself. I'm Robert Bales. I'm the president of WNB Factory. We have with us today Younghoe Koo, Falcons kicker, and we have Chris Lee, who's our chief tech officer for WNB Factory. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about precision, passion, and purpose, a conversation with Younghoe Koo. First of all, Younghoe, welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here, especially for the first ever podcast of WNB Factory. So I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're looking forward to it. The first segment of our conversation today, I guess, is probably a lot of people might really be interested in understanding your journey. You came from South Korea to the United States. So tell us a little bit about that and what brought you from South Korea to America.
My mom moved here when I was in 4th grade to New Jersey. And I think they moved here to give me a better opportunity. Yeah. But I think earlier on, my parents recognized I had some athleticism in me. You know, I grew up playing soccer over there.
Oh, okay. So soccer, that's sort of where it came from.
That's definitely the background. But I love sports, any sport I was playing growing up. So when I came here, I didn't even know what a football looked like. And I think, during a lunch recess, they were playing two-hand touch football. And they asked me to join them and play. And that's how I really got first introduced to the game of football.
Gotcha.
So you started kicking right off the bat?
Yeah, I mean, they knew I was, I play soccer, so they asked me to punt the ball to start the game, and I think I, punted it pretty far. So they're like, wait a minute, you should come out and play with us, and that's how I really got into it.
If you had to go back, right, would you still choose football over soccer?
Yeah, that was actually a big decision for me and my family in 8th grade.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So my middle school coach came over to my house and explained to my parents. My football coach.
Football coach.
Yeah,
so
football coach.
You were getting pegged by these guys. Okay.
So my middle school football coach came over to my house and had a dinner with my family and explained to my parents, like, hey, he has a future in this.
Oh.
But us not knowing anything about football, my dad was like, what are you talking about? He's just kicking a ball, right? Like, what future are you talking about? Yeah. So I'm really grateful for that coach because he took the time to come over to my house and talk to my family, my dad, and like explain like what it could be. There's an opportunity out there that we didn't even know it was a thing. Yeah. We sat down and I think my dad did some research and we like learned about it. So thanks to the coach educating us. And we sat down as a family in 8th grade. We're like, which one are we going to go with? Because in New Jersey, football and soccer were in the same season in fall. So I couldn't play both. And it was like a big decision, and my dad was like, all right, we're in America and football is king, so let's go with football. And I would say he chose the right,
that was awesome.
Chose the right path.
That's a really cool story. I love it. So what struggles did you sort of have trying to get into this position of moving beyond the high school level?
How do I get exposure to college coaches? How do I send film? Stuff like that.
You gotta send the film?
Yeah. So
like the way you kick and stuff.
I'm not that old, but we didn't have this like huddle. It was just starting. I would think.
GoPro back then?
No. So I was sending DVDs.
Mean, you're still young.
I was shipping DVDs out, and I had YouTube, stuff.
There's a lot of folks going, "What's a DVD?"
There are kicking camps that you can go to. But you got to travel, so you got to buy the flight.
I was wondering about that because, there's coaches back then, I guess back in the late 90s, I mean, there was more dedication to a quarterback or running back, lines, things like that. But you didn't have dedicated kicking coaches, didn't have dedicated, people for that, especially in
not that I was in high school in the 80s or 90s, but
well, I'm referring.
But yeah, I mean, there are like a few kicking coaches around the nation where guys will fly to and get this like ranking, right? It's like ranking kicking stuff. And coaches will go and it's like, all right, this is like a 5-star kicker. This is like the #1 kicker in the nation. But I didn't go to any of those camps. So I just went to local college camp. You know, I was coming in towards the top, you know, and so it was like, okay, like I know I belong here. Yeah. But I wish I did go to those camps to get more exposure. That was I would think the biggest lesson there was.
Okay. That's pretty interesting. What other teams have you played for in the NFL?
Out of college, I was undrafted to the LA Chargers.
LA Chargers?
Yeah. That was my first stop. It was interesting for me. I mean, you feel like you made it, right? Like, I know getting signed undrafted or drafted or not, it's like your dream, and you're finally there on at the football facility.
Pro level, yeah.
So I put everything into it during, you know, the spring training and OTAs and training camp, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna get this job. So it was like everything I was doing was for that, you know. The moment I woke up till the moment I went to sleep, I was just like, I gotta get this job, you know. This is right here, right in front of my face. And I won the starting job, and it was like I made it. Right, like I made the 53 roster. I am the kicker, one of 32 in the NFL.
And what did that feel like? First of all, you're walking on the field
first game
in the
in
NFL
itself,
game. You're by yourself, basically, right? It's you and the ball, and
and I didn't know much, but my first NFL game was Monday Night Football.
Oh wow!
In Denver,
in Denver,
and it comes down to a game winning or game tying field goal. It was like 3 seconds left.
Wow.
And
for your first
game. Do you remember
for the first game?
How far was that?
It might have been 44 or 43.
That's a long way.
46 maybe? It was one of those. Left hash, I remember.
Yeah.
And I made it.
You
but
made it.
Denver coach called a timeout.
Oh, no.
So I kicked the first one, I made it.
Yeah.
And there was a timeout, so I had to re-kick it. So when I re-kicked it, it got blocked. And then we lost the game. And it was like, man, I messed this up. You know, that's what it felt like, right? So that was the first game. And then after 4 games into my rookie season, I got cut. And that was my first experience, you know, in the NFL. And it was tough, man. Like, because that was the first time in my like football career ever, right? Like middle school, high school, college. That was the first time where like
you got
I got cut, and it wasn't like, dang, like I'm not playing football anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, so like that was the first time since like 7th grade when I started playing football.
Yeah.
I didn't have practice. I didn't have meetings. I didn't have anything.
You weren't thinking in your head, maybe I should have stayed with soccer at that point, were you?
Who knows, you know? Like
So
I was like, am I going to continue? Am I not? It was like it was a deep moment for me.
So how did you pull yourself out of that? Because I mean, that's inspirational for a lot of people. I mean, just anybody that gets put down and taken down, loses a job, whatever. These are tough things.
Yeah. It was a lot of reflection of like professionally and personally. I mean, I was 22 years old?
22.
And honestly, you don't even know who you are, right? Like you're trying to figure out, like you're still growing, fresh out of college. I thought I was a failure. Like that's what I felt.
Yeah.
Like that was the first time that I like hit this slump. So like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna go get a job? You know, like. So once I got cut from the Chargers, I moved to San Diego. There's John Carney was there. He kicked in the NFL for 24 years.
Wow.
So I was like, you know what? This is going to be my mentor. So I drove down there and I just went to the gym and I said, hey, John, like, I'm here to learn. Like, teach me everything. So I got to work. I stayed out there. I bounced around Airbnbs to Airbnbs and just kind of living out of my car pretty much. But what helped me at the time was I wasn't alone. So there were a lot of different free agent guys that were, you know, looking to get a first opportunity in the league or had an opportunity, but similar situation to mine. They're trying to get back into the NFL.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like interesting dynamic where like these guys, we're all competing against each other on the field and the gym. But at the same time, we're all going through the same things.
You're all picking each other up.
Yeah, so we're, you know, having lunch after a field session or after a lifting session. We're just hanging out. But like, you know, looking back, it was therapeutic for me because it was like, I'm not alone, right? Like you're going through the same thing. So I don't feel like such a failure, like just by myself.
Yeah.
So that was a huge part for me. Just being with the guys, going through the same things. And then once I ran out of money that I earned from the Chargers, I moved back home to my mom's house.
Did you have any like part-time jobs while you were
training?
So
funny. So I did not.
Don't say you went to the wing place.
So
or in it.
So I'm fortunate to have parents that supported my dreams. You know, they supported me financially, and they were there for me to, go back home when I needed to. But for me, I'm gonna put everything I got into
getting this goal done.
Like, wake up. I'm gonna do everything that I can to getting back into the NFL.
There you go, kids. That's what it takes.
I literally would print out. I still do this. I print out a calendar, right, with like the blank stuff, like every day, and I'll write. It might take an hour, maybe 2 hours, whatever. And you're just writing down, all right, what I'm eating, what I'm doing that day, whether in the gym or whatever, on the field. I'm kicking this day. I'm lifting legs here. I'm lifting upper here. I'm eating this, and how many calories, this, that, whatever. I literally just went detail of that.
That's what you got to do.
The harder part is not that, but the hardest part is sticking with that.
Yeah. Sticking with the
plan. I wrote it down so that mentally for me it was easy. This is the plan because this is the goal. And I'm going to stick to that every single day. And just kind of like that discipline was where I think was the biggest lesson for me during those 2 years.
Awesome.
Wow, that's awesome.
I mean, the dedication, putting things on paper, that might be all had with the internet and everything else today. But if you write things down and you set goals, you are more apt to get things done and work that way. So
I'm going to start doing that.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's a good idea for you.
It works.
Tell something sort of fun about you that maybe other people might not know. What else? What would you sort of like to peel the onion back a little bit and say, all right, a little bit about me? What is? Do you like to cook or whatever? Tell something.
I actually am a pretty good cook, but I don't like cooking. It's just I don't like standing.
What's
there
your
long.
Favorite dish that you cook?
I mean, the late night, food? Like after some drinks, ramen is,
I don't think that's.
I don't think that's sort of like.
I dress it up though. I dress it up.
He says I'm pretty good cook, and he says I make ramen.
I go break out a bottle of ramen.
It's not like the instant. You gotta dress it up. Put some veggies in there. Eggs is essential, right? Like and some protein in there, whatever's left in the fridge. You gotta get creative.
I want to sort of talk a little bit about the inspiration. What brought you to WNB Factory? I mean, we got a call, I guess, from your agent, and I was like going, okay, what's going on? And so tell us what inspired you about our brand.
I think the most interesting part was like as we got deeper into it of like, all right, like what can we do? How are we going to do this? And once we got to know the people, right, like I was like, all right, this is a special place. And it made me feel like home, like he's like my Hyung to me. And not that you're that much.
I am.
But, starting with like, starting with Mr. Pio Troy and everybody on the team, I was like, man, I feel like I'm home, and just going out to dinner, having fun, playing golf and all that stuff. I think at the end of the day, no matter what field we're talking about, it's about people, and this is a special place when it comes to that. I remember, like, we talked about people, but I was like, all right, I gotta see what the food is about, right? Like, if I'm gonna like get into this, like, is this good or what? And then there was like cherry on top for me. We went to a location and we started cooking the burger and the wings and all that. It was awesome. So,
I think menu wise, we're going to also come up with something unique this year, and that's going to be your Koo's family pack. No pressure there next, so we've got to get you to sort of find those core items that you want to put in your mix. Let's come up with a great combination and get that out to the families and be able to enjoy that watching football.
I love
every Falcons game, right?
Do you have any like lucky underwear or socks you wear?
So I'm different in that. I try to do something different. The only thing that I do the same every game is I wake up and get to the stadium as early as I can. Like away games, there are waves of buses at different times. I take the first one because I don't like rushing, especially on game day. Like you can always pick up speed, but like once you kind of get rattled up and you're going, it takes a little bit to kind of calm back down. So I try to not even like mess with that as far as time goes.
Well, to not put any more pressure on you, with our partnership with the Falcons, any kick that you kick in the fourth quarter, everybody that is following the Falcons or follows WNB Factory can get a special deal on the Koo's Kickin Bourbon burger. We're also going to include free French fries with that, and that is going to be available for the whole week after the game. So pretty much ongoing throughout the year. So we're not going to cut it off and say, well, you can't do it on Monday or Tuesday. It's going to be in place. If you kick that field goal, we're going to keep that active offer out there for all our fans. So sell a lot of your burgers. That's going to get in front of all the Falcons fans. So we expect that to be the new famous burger for Atlanta. So we're excited to see that happen. Again, thank you, Younghoe. I appreciate it. Yeah. And I have your partnership. It truly means a lot to me, and it means a lot to everybody within the office and the ownership of the company. So again, thank you. Fans, we appreciate your time, and hopefully you had a great time listening to the segment today with Younghoe. We're going to do another podcast. I'm hoping, and what I'm expecting to do is bring in a super talented chef, and we're going to talk a little bit about food and cooking, and maybe we'll bring Younghoe in.
Sounds great.
He could cook his ramen.
Yeah, he can bring the ramen. You all right? Sound good? Awesome. Well, we appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
So, thank you very much.